Good morning, parents. I and my students of second graders. I wanted to take a little bit of time to go over some things with you for our math lessons for this week, because we've spent a good bit of time, you've probably noticed, since winter break working on regrouping with addition, or back in the day we used to call it borrowing. So we're going to work on this week and possibly some other weeks regrouping with subtraction. And there's some little tricks, some little catchy rhymes that we need to have in our toolbox to help us with that. So today I thought I would go over some of those with you, and it's something that I've just found that we just repeat it over and over and over and over again. And some of the students struggle to have their math facts in automatic recall in their memory. And I want you to know that I'm aware of that it is okay. That is why we use different tools such as the number line and our hopping on the number line to help teach them and to help them basically get the right answer. Sometimes we can use other things like tangible items. I have some blocks that we put together. At home you could use beans, you could use popcorn, you could use pieces of cereal, but preferably using the number line is typically what we move toward at the end of second grade. So let me show you what I'm talking about this morning. If we have a problem such as this, where you have 42 minus 27, the students have to get used to doing this, and it's a few steps there. And they also have to decide when to regroup and how to regroup. So the way we get that stuck in their head in those processes is just a lot of repetition over and over again, and then using rhymes. So I wanted to create a little lesson to help you learn what those rhymes are so that you'll be able to use them with your child. And also I'm going to put them in today's lesson with the Google Doc. So if you would like to print them out at home, to just have them somewhere in their workspace to just remind them, is there more on the top? Is there more on the floor? Because that's what we do over and over again in math. And really in second grade math, adding and subtracting more than one digit with two digits is one of the what we call heavy hitters. It's one of the important skills in second grade that they're going to need moving forward into third grade. So I wanted to make sure I did as thorough of a job as I could in this format to help you with this as you're working with them this week and moving forward. So we are going to be looking at regrouping with subtraction. So the first thing that we have to teach them to look at and to remind them, and I have it in one of my other slides, but always remind them that we start with the ones place. This is the ones place. And so we ask them if the number on top is larger. So we look at it and we go, is 9 more than 4? And sometimes when my students can't figure this out, I may use different tangible items so that they can actually look at them and see 9 is bigger than 4. If they still struggle with that, they know that they can, or I try and teach them, that they can look on the number line, and the number that is last on the number line when you're counting from 1 is going to be the bigger number. So I try to give them lots of tools to help them figure out if the number on top is larger or not. So here's the rhyme that we use. We say, more on the top, no need to stop. I just subtract. So I kind of repeat this over and over again. Is there more on the top? Then there's no need to stop. Keep going. So it looks like this. If we have 79 minus 64, we know that there's more on the top, so there's no need to stop. 9 minus 4 is 5, and of course 7 minus 6 is 1. And then we say, good job, you did it. Sometimes there's a problem that looks like this, where this number in the ones place and this number down here in the ones place are the same. So if the ones place has the same numbers, then we use this rhyme. We say numbers the same, then zero's the game. So we kind of make it into a little funny rhyme, and a lot of times they might not even notice it, but I'm actually sitting there saying it for them or with them. I'll say, look, look, number's the same, so zero's the game. Write your zero down there. I don't know why, but just using these rhymes, it just really helps them to get it in their head. And then we say 5 minus 1 is what? And that's 4. Good job. You did it. Finally, and this is our most difficult, when we have to regroup is when the bottom number in the ones place is larger than the top number. For example, in 42 minus 27, we're like, oh no. I mean, it's 9 times out of 10, my students are going to start going 7 minus 2, and they're going to write 5 down there because, you know, that's what their little brains are conditioned to do. But we have to remind them using a rhyme. We're like, look at it again. Remind them too, because this is another thing. Sometimes my students want to start subtracting over here, 4 minus 2, and that's going to cause a problem, especially when you start regrouping. So I'm telling them over and over again, remember, we always start with the ones place, always start with the ones place. And I did that as far as addition with regrouping, so they're used to hearing that. We always start with the ones place. So, and this is just a reminder that the 7 is in the ones place, the 6 would be in the tens place. So when the bottom number is larger than the top number, we use this rhyme. This is our favorite because this is what helps us get through math. We say, more on the floor, then go next door to get some more. For example, looking at the problem, the 7 is on the floor. So we have to go to this 4 up here to borrow or get some more, or as we call it now, regrouping. It's the same thing. So there's more on the floor. The 7 is larger than the 2, and I'm like, sometimes when they want to say 7 minus 2 equals 5, I'm like, that's not what the problem says. Look, it says 2 minus 7. And that's where I would pull out my blocks and put my 2 blocks on the table, and I say, can I take 7 away from that? And sometimes they say yes. And I say, then show me. And once I ask them to show me, of course, they realize that you can't. And so I remind them, then we have to go next door to get some more. And that would look like this. So with the problem 42 minus 27, we have 7 on the floor. So look, we have to go next door to get some more. So we mark this off. And then I ask them, and we usually hold up fingers for doing this. I'll say, hold up 4 fingers. Now take one away. What is it? It's 3. Good job. Write your 3. And really, I know that it is a lot. I understand that. But it's a lot of prompting them through these problems because especially in the beginning, this is very difficult for second graders, okay? And so then I tell them we have to mark off the 2, so mark off the 2. Look, we took that 1 away. Let's put it above the 2. We took it over here. We got to give it to this guy. We got to get some more. I'm still trying to use that language. And then I remind them, because this is just the hard part. I'm like, what number is this? And they say 2. And I'm like, pull it up. Put it up there. Of course, if we were playing my manipulative game in the classroom, I would show them that this number that you borrowed over here is actually 10. You borrowed 10 because it's 1, 10. And then the 10 plus the 2 equals 12. But since, you know, we don't always have time to pull that game out, and I find that my students, especially my students with autism, they just need a method. How do I get to this answer? And so I tell them, put the 1 over here that we took, and what number is this? Pull it up. And now we're ready to subtract. So that's what I tell them. Now we're ready to subtract. Look. Look, you can do it. You can take 12 minus 5. And this is where I say, look on your number line. Start with 12. I'm sorry, 12 minus 7. Start with 12. Show me what 12 minus 7 is equal to. And you know, I wait for them, and then they put, and I'm like, put the 5, put it right there. Now you got to do this one. Don't forget, what is 3 minus 1? And they find the answer, and I'm like, yay, you did it. So I'm going to print or type up the rhymes for you. I hope that was helpful, just to show you the process of how we get to these answers, because this is probably like the most difficult math that second graders are expected to do, and it really does take a lot of repetition and doing it over and over again. If you find the sheets that I've posted are too long or too frustrating, do half of them, you know, do a little bit. I just want the students, if they can, to just have the language, the rhymes in their head as we just say them over and over again. And so just any help that you can give them is going to be helpful for them moving forward into the 3rd grade. So thank you so much, parents, for watching and for helping. And have fun, friends, doing the rest of your work today. Bye.